This is me. You may be wondering how I ended up in this situation. Well, it all started once I made the lowest tiers of RBY and wanted to make the lowest tiers of GSC. I noticed that GSC was the only generation to not be featured in the PU and ZU articles on this forum post. As such, I didn't think they existed, and set out to create them myself. It was after finishing the PU viability rankings that I looked up GSC PU on Google, only to find out that both it and ZU have existed the whole time. So, of course, I won't be able to make a video about the lowest tier in GSC until ZU is finalized and I can start working on SU, which is why, for now at least, future videos in this sort of mini-series will focus on other generations. Despite this, I wanted to point something out, which is that my version of GSC PU is pretty different from the official one. One notable difference is that Hitmonchan is banned, which is admittedly quite justifiable. That thing just spams curse and wins. We just didn't happen to use it much despite knowing it was top tier. In that case then, what did I ban? Well, it was Furret. This thing is blatantly broken, and here's my factual explanation on why my opinion is better than yours. Furret is a fast curse user who can maximize his bulk while being extremely threatening offensively at the same time. Not many special attackers can revenge kill it or take any of its boosted hits, which means that Furret can just spam rest on their face until it gets lucky of Sleep Talk. Okay then, what about Ghastly? It's the only Pokemon who takes no damage from Double Edge. Well, despite it being a great Pokemon, it struggles to handle Furret as it's not only frail, meaning that Shadow Ball Furret variants can take it out, but it's also extremely vulnerable to Pursuit, making it a bad check in the long term. Murkrow's Pursuit, in particular, OHKOs a Ghastly switching out, and even though Ghastly can stay in, it very much doesn't want to, since it's not only outsped, but OHKO'd by Shadow Ball as well. Okay then, you may still not be convinced, until you find out that another top tier Pokemon in Elekid gets Pursuit. Sure, Ghastly needs to be chipped for Elekid to truly take it out, but it's not too hard to chip anything in Pokemon, especially in the wars of attrition that GSC promotes. Okay then, what about rock types? Well, they're not that good either. Rhyhorn, while not being a bad Pokemon by any means, isn't ubiquitous, and it can't even threaten Furret back, meaning that Furret can just spam Curse on it until it wins the matchup. Onix, on the other hand, is a bad Pokemon who's only good at beating Furret. What makes it bad is its lack of an offensive presence, with its worse than oddish attack making it very passive. The reason why it needs that attack is because GSC lacks a lot of the passive damage that other generations have, and any passive damage that does exist can just be ignored by rest. What makes it good at delaying Furret then is its Titanic defense stat and access to Roar, which makes it the only Pokemon outside of Ghastly who can prevent it from sweeping. This only temporarily prevents the sweep though, as the Furret user can just wait for Onix to be KO'd later. That's just one Pokemon though. Another rock type who sounds like a good check is Corsola, since it has the insanely busted Recover with 32 PP, but it's also too passive to prevent a sweep. In that case, what about offensively threatening Furret? Well, that's typically your only option. Sure, Hitmonchan was banned, but Hitmontop and Machoke are still good Pokemon who can use Curse themselves to outboost Furret before hitting them with their super effective stabs. I still don't believe these are truly great answers to it though. Sure, Furret doesn't want to switch into them, but if Furret manages to boost enough times before a fighting type comes in, then Furret can typically take an unboosted hit and KO them. Sure, this isn't always the case, and it will happen less to good players, but it's still a limiting factor in building a team. The fact that Curse users are the only actually good Pokemon who put a stop to Furret should say enough about how stupid this thing is. If it somehow doesn't though, I'll just add one last thing, and it's that the best check to Furret is often your own Furret, and that it's required on pretty much every team as a result. I'm shocked it hasn't been banned because of this, and hopefully I was able to display my arguments here the best I could. Hopefully, you enjoyed this one. This is one of my more out there videos, but I tried to keep it as informative as I could. I'm having an exceptionally busy week, so I needed to make a low maintenance video while I had the chance. If you want to know more about GSC PU, then I'll link the forum post about it. As for my version of GSC PU, I'm considering talking about it on the second channel. That video will be poorly edited and unscripted, but if it's something you're interested in, then you can tell me about it. With that said, I'll see you guys whenever I have time to make a video.